What's going on, everybody? We're having a little tiff backstage. It is episode 13. Lawson was like, no, we don't. And we're like, yeah, we do. So. You know, you're in for a treat. We've got the movies this week. Well, the TV shows and the movies. Both are called The Something.
Yep.
You just wait and see. Yeah, maybe if you sign on, you'll be the Bondsman. Or you could just write it out and hang 10 on the surfer.
Oh, my God.
What?
If you sign up, what are we signing up to? Explain the joke to me.
Nope. Let's move on. What's been happening, bro?
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. My busy is very different to your busy, but I've been doing a lot of design stuff and watching a lot of shit. Taskmaster, and there's a show called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is pretty spectacular. It's about a woman comedian in the 50s.
Okay.
It's great.
You're up. There's a new movie about a female wrestler in the 50s, 70s. I don't really know. I just know there's a new one about a wrestler.
Interesting. Well, yeah, it's been a busy one, and you've been the same old. Heaps of sport and whatever else.
Yeah. It's just a different day and different sport.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is Mother's Day today, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers we have listening.
Thank you for the reminder.
Do you know what's a good thing you could do for your mother? Share the podcast with them. Tell them about it.
Instead of tell your friends, tell your mum.
Yeah, even though it'll be late, but it'll be a delayed Mother's Day present.
True.
Though Mother's Day elsewhere in the world is different to Australia, so enjoy it. Yeah. Guess what is coming out?
Lots of stuff, but what are you referring to?
Okay. Godzilla X Kong is now the sequel has a title. Guess what it's called? The Human Torch's ult is the same. Marvel Rivals.
I forget what his ult is called.
Supernova.
Oh, yep. Right.
So now that because they're buddies, they're joining forces.
Is it called?
Is it
like
Godzilla
X Kong Supernova?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is indeed. Yeah. How good?
That's a long name.
Isn't it? What was the other one called? Godzilla X Kong something, wasn't it?
New Empire.
Yeah. This is virtually the same. So,
when's it coming out? This year? Next year?
I just know that it's got a mini teaser released now.
This is 2027.
So,
2 years, Jesus.
Yep. So that'd be alright.
Will it?
I'm keen for it. Yeah. The other one was alright. You enjoyed it. You're just cranky because you just got up.
I'm always cranky. I gave the other one a 1.5. You gave it a 3.
Yeah, I did.
So I wouldn't say I enjoyed it.
Okay.
There were parts that were pretty interesting, but most of it was mind-numbing boring.
Yeah. Well, there is a movie that we're both keen for. It is coming out on the 22nd of May. It is the Lilo and Stitch movie is coming out. So get keen for that. And then also getting lots and lots of more publicity is the How to Train Your Dragon. So that is getting a heap of stuff coming out soon. Well, it's got another trailer release. And
this month, next month? That's pretty soon too, right?
I think it's next month, I'm pretty sure. Pretty confident it's next month because it was Lilo and Stitch, and then the next one, I think it was like June 8th or something. Pretty sure.
June 13th.
Oh, that was pretty close.
Yeah, not bad. As close as I was.
Yeah. So
next
I knew
month.
there was one on each month. So
and a month away. Interesting. I still don't think it needs to exist, but we'll watch it.
We'll get keen. Then we got Spider-Man Brand New Day is bringing on lots and lots, so the cast is growing pretty steadily. I'm pretty keen for it still. I still reckon it's going to do well, especially if the track and the the direction Marvel's going after the Thunderbolts. Hopefully that is going to be good, because the Thunderbolts director is said to be taking on the new MCU X-Men movie.
Okay, cool. I'm down with that.
He did really good.
X-Men's like the one exception for me. I really like X-Men. I don't love heroes and stuff, but something about X-Men grabbed me as a kid.
Is it because there's so much variety and you're like, I don't have to watch just one, I can watch all these mutants.
I like all the different powers, and I think there's some interesting character stories in there as well. I don't know, always liked X-Men. So I'm keen as the new movie. I love Beast. Nightcrawler's fucking awesome.
Nightcrawler's cool. I really like Cyclops. Yeah, it was cool.
My first playthrough of Pokemon Coliseum, I named every Pokemon after an X-Men character. Because you wanted to know that.
I did. I did. Did you try and match them up?
I did.
With like what they look like and their powers, and then named them
like
across?
My Umbreon was Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stuff like that.
Umbreon. Could have went Abra with the teleporting.
There's no Abra in that game.
Which Pokemon are we talking about?
Pokemon Coliseum. It's a GameCube game that's pretty unique, and there's only some Pokemon you can catch, and there's no wild Pokemon. You catch shadow Pokemon from the bad guys, and then you have to free their heart from the shadows.
It sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh! The Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually heard a kid the other day in class, I'm going to banish you to Shadow Realm. I was like, that's good.
I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh's on a little bit of a comeback.
You reckon?
But I don't know that it's a little bit. I hear little bits and pieces of it. But who knows?
Okay.
Something that is coming out and is coming back is Megan with a 3. So she is now, still has the same head, but has like a full robotic body. So apparently Megan 2.0 is promising the ultimate mean girl showdown between Megan and her nemesis Amelia. So apparently there's going to be it's going to be another one. So,
27th of June.
27, okay, I guess we'll watch it because we will. We will.
Probably review this and Training Dragon in the same week. What a week.
I pick How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm probably more interested in Megan than I am with Dragon, to be honest.
Wow, okay. Okay. Fair. Shaun the Sheep is apparently getting a movie, which is due in 2026.
Shaun the Sheep. What a banger.
Yeah. Also, there is like a documentary of Keanu Reeves called Wick is Pain. So it's all about him taking on the role for him becoming John Wick. Does look pretty interesting. I'll probably give it a look.
So it's like behind the scenes footage and stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, of him doing all the stuff. So
Wick is Pain.
I'm kind of keen for it. It was a bit of a surprise release. I was not prepared for it. It was just like, here's Wick is Pain. I was like, is this a new one or is this just like a documentary? And it turns out it's a documentary.
It's already out?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay.
It's out now. Yeah, it didn't really get much publicity. It was just like, here it is, kind of like John Wick. He just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I couldn't see them putting a lot of money into like a behind the scenes.
No. But considering how big the franchise is, because you've got the Ballerina coming out soon as well, which is the spin-off. Yeah. So who knows?
It's one of those things that those who know it will be interested regardless, and those who don't know it probably won't watch it. But I couldn't, there's no point putting millions of dollars into publicity behind something like
that. Yeah. The score is what? I think, did you take the lead? It was 2-0.
It is 3-2 my way. If I win this week, I win fight 2.
Ugh.
Yep.
Ugh.
I know.
All right. Mr. Forum Scavenger.
Yep, that's me.
It is. Which means I can't even remember who went off.
Bondsman goes first this week.
The Bondsman. We are getting Kevin Bacon, who is the Bondsman. So this is an Amazon Prime original. This came out a little bit earlier in April. But I think what did we decide on? We decided on something else over the Bondsman. I'm a big fan of Ash vs. Evil Dead and obviously the Evil Dead trilogy. Lots of people online were comparing this to obviously Evil Dead and Ash vs. Evil Dead, which has some similar tones, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
We've got a resurrected bounty hunter, Hub Halloran, who is Kevin Bacon, gets an unexpected second chance at life, love, and his nearly forgotten musical career, only to find that his old job now has a demonic new twist. Bom, bom, bom. How many have you seen?
3.
I have seen 5.
Jesus.
So, yep.
2 was enough.
So, whoa, all right, spoilers, calm down. Go to bed earlier. So we have Hub,
That's
who's
my
played by
Rivals
Kevin
last
Bacon.
Till like 12:30.
Wow. He is the bondsman, so he's pretty much a bounty hunter. He's off trying to bring in criminals. One of his missions goes awry, and he unfortunately gets his throat slit, which then he wakes up in a house, and there's some markings on his hands, which won't go away, but then he starts to regenerate and heal himself. So it turns out he is conscripted to become the bondsman, so he becomes the devil is employing him to track down demons that escape hell, and then he has to go fight them and kill them to put them back into hell.
Yep.
There's a few twists and turns. Obviously his marriage is broken down, where he's trying to rekindle his relationship with his son. It's a little bit strained because his ex-wife is with Lucky, who Lucky is the guy that paid the criminals to kill Hub, and then there's a little bit of back and forth in that, and I guess revealed pretty early on where everyone is kind of like, yep, cool, there's demons, we are going to go off and sort of like stop these demons, and no one really questions it. It's kind of just accepted that there are demons, and everyone's like, oh, okay, there's demons now.
So demons again.
Which, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they did in the show. They were like,
yeah,
where they got the lady who in episode 5 actually gets the backstory of how she becomes, so Midge randomly rocks up and is like, you're part of the pot of gold, here's the manual, and she was like, I'm your like messenger person, you are now, this is your role, if you don't capture your demon you go to hell, and you can only be on earth for as long as you're able to capture these demons. And then the mum, Kitty, gets involved. Kitty is like the mum who will do anything to protect her son, who then frames Lucky with a shotgun. So there's a whole Lucky's trying to get back at Hub, and then all of a sudden the ex-wife realizes there's demons as well with the demons. Each episode has a different demon. It's a little bit of like demon of the week.
Yeah.
The first episode, I actually really enjoyed the first episode because it had that tone, the over-the-topness, where he was like getting the retaliation. He had the hole in his neck. I'm like, he's going to smoke and it's going to come out his neck. And I laughed every time there was smoke coming out of his neck.
I didn't mind that either.
And that's the tone I wanted. Episode 2 and 3 don't have that tone. It has moments where that tone is there, but then they spend too heavy on the like serious drama of like trying to show Hub trying to reconnect with his like son, or trying to reconnect his marriage, or try and outmaneuver Lucky. But for something of this sort of genre that they were trying to go for, if you've set the tone in episode 1 that it's like over the top goriness, and then you've gone, no, we're going to focus more on the drama stuff, it was a little bit jarring and a little bit like, I don't care that much, because you haven't really set anything up.
Very much
set
so.
The tone
I did not give a
quite
shit.
high. No, episode 1 set the tone quite high, and I was like, sick. Let's go. I'm keen for this.
I enjoyed episode 1. I thought it was decent, and then as the episodes went on, my rating went lower and lower.
4 and 5 are better.
Okay.
I enjoyed 4 and 5 better than I did 2 and 3. 2 and 3 I found quite weak, and I didn't really enjoy it. I was like,
yep.
I'm interested enough to give it a go. Like, there's only 8 episodes, they're 28 minutes a piece, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But again, even the demons in episode 2 and 3 like kind of sucked. Like there wasn't much that I was like, oh.
Yeah, they're super lame. One was electric and one was water. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, they get
episode
better?
4.
Tell me, because I don't care about spoilers.
Okay, so episode 4, they get a demon. I can't remember the name, but I do laugh that every time the fax comes in, and I laugh because it's a fax. Like, who does the fax and he still uses a typewriter? I was like, what are you doing? Like, surely you've got a computer. Why is it coming in a fax and a typewriter?
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's a hell stuck in the past.
Yeah. So episode 4 has a demon that possesses them and then force feeds their victims until they explode.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That was a cool one.
Yeah.
Then episode 5, we actually get Midge's backstory. So we get how she joined the Pot of Gold. What's it called? Syndicate business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her son has cancer, and then to pay her medical bills, she was trying to sell stuff, and then this guy randomly comes in and gets her to sign on the dotted line, and then she has to meet her soul quota, so she has to get those people to sign on the line and then sell their souls. So she becomes like a salesman, like a door-to-door salesman rep for people selling their souls.
Okay.
Yeah, which was kind of cool. I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Hub realizes it and then finds out and then tries to piece it a bit together so that each of the demons is sacrificing and there's a meaning, which I believe because in episode 1 they give you that sort of coming up on the season, there's Armageddon coming because each of the demons are trying to sacrifice and then bring hell to Earth. Which is,
I skipped that because I hate when shows give you spoilers through that.
Yeah, I couldn't find the remote at that point in time. I was like ah! And then I ended up seeing it, so it's fine. Especially with episode 8 being called Lilith, which I'm assuming is one of the big bad demons. I do hear that name often for demons. Yeah. So, yeah. There were moments. It had moments where I was like, this is good. And then it had moments where I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, episode one was interesting because you get there's a bit of fun to the back and forth of the characters. Kevin Bacon isn't annoying yet. I didn't mind Beth Grant, his mum, in the first episode. She was fine. I didn't expect her to become this main character offsider role. Episode 2, she's really annoying. By episode 3, I couldn't fucking stand her. Every scene she's in, she's super, super annoying to me. I hated her character. I don't understand how a show creates, I don't know how to put this. You create a show with Kevin Bacon and a woman who is known for comedy roles, playing crazy old lady, and also she's played Kitty. I looked up I control F'd her list earlier. She's played Kitty 3 times. For some reason they named her character Kitty 3 times. Anyway. Really? Yeah.
Stage name.
Because I knew in Donnie Darko she was Kitty. And then, in something else, she's Kitty as well, but it's irrelevant. Anyway, she is known for playing pretty eccentric old women. And in this, they try and make her really grounded and she's crazy, but they also try and make her really heartfelt. And she's she just cares about her son and whatever else. But I think her character would have been fun if she was just this insane religious old woman who's just batshit crazy. And that's sort of where the show lacks. You mentioned Ash vs. Evil Dead, which knows what it's doing. It's doing something really fun. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. It leans right into the body horror and all the gore and whatever else. This has some elements of that, but it doesn't go balls to the wall enough to be interesting. And I fucking hated every single character. I couldn't give a shit. The son's a little annoying little bitch. His name is Cade, which I hate hearing my name on TV shows. It just confuses me because I don't hear it very often. And when I do hear it, it's well, that's my name. You can't use that. I don't know. I hated all the characters. I couldn't give a fuck about him and his ex-wife going through problems, and yeah, I really struggled. Episode 1 was interesting enough, and I wasn't bored of the characters yet. Episode 2, I was like, okay, this is very exciting. Episode 3, like you said before, the demon was so boring and lasted no time at all. And then it was just all about him and his son. And I didn't like him or his son.
Makes it a tough watch then, doesn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't connect with it. Did you ever see Grimm?
Oh, that was, they tried to retell it's kind of like Once Upon a Time, but they were trying to do the horror version.
Yeah. He was he was hunting. He was a hunter. His whole family were hunters, and they could tell who were fantasy creatures and stuff, who were werewolves, who were whatever.
They ran for a long time, eh?
Yeah. There was, how many seasons? 6, 7 maybe?
Ran from 2011 to 2017.
6 seasons.
It's got 123 episodes. Damn,
that's a lot. I got bored of it. I watched, I think, like 3 seasons, and it, like we said before, it became Monster of the Week and became less interesting. One of those shows that I don't think they ever expected it to go for as long as it did.
Like Once Upon a Time came out same year, but ran for an extra year.
Right. I liked Once as well originally, and then I got bored of it.
Yeah, they had 7 seasons.
Of Once? Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked Grimm initially, and the Grimm lasted longer on me. But it's the same plot, but more interesting because, 3 episodes anyway. The demons that we saw in the first 3 episodes were really lame. So if you say they get cooler, then great. But then
it gets,
don't save the cool ones for later. Show us some cool ones in the beginning.
It doesn't like revolutionize the genre or do the genre that well. But even like Supernatural, because each of their seasons was like 24 episodes, it was like they went Monster of the Week as well for a while.
Sure, I haven't seen Supernatural.
No, really? I got up to like season 10.
Jesus, is that many?
There's 12.
That's a lot.
Nope, there's 15.
Fuck me. That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, they got 300 and...
Jesus Christ.
327.
Wow.
And then they even got the spin-off series called Winchesters, I reckon, which is about the mum and dad.
There you go.
Yeah, but they went like real heavy. They were like, how do we progress this? And then they had angels, fallen angels, and they got right into it.
Until 2020, you're right.
Yep. Because they had Castiel. Yeah. So.
Pretty much ran for my entire 20s and longer.
Yep.
I never watched it. Never cared.
Yeah.
But yeah,
quite enjoyed it.
Back to Bondsman. I just found it boring.
Okay.
It didn't really grab me.
Yeah. I enjoyed the first one. Episode 2 and 3 were a bit of a disappointment. 4 and 5 I enjoyed. But, like, I'll watch the rest of it.
Sure.
But I'm not,
I don't know how it goes.
Not hanging for it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll get a little bit better.
Well, looking at the episode list, the last episode and the 6th episode have the highest ratings.
Okay.
So maybe it does get good.
Hopefully. I was just expecting more over the topness. I was expecting Ash vs. Evil Dead level, because that show, I love it. I reckon it's hysterical because it's just ridiculous. Like everything about it, like the one-liners, like Bruce Campbell's one-liners, some of my favourites.
Yeah.
Say hello to my boomstick.
They know what they're doing as well. They're like, we're making something dumb. Let's just make something dumb. Whereas this tries to be really like heartfelt.
Very heartfelt.
Yeah.
There's one episode where they give you, because there's that whole storyline of that the mum and the son are going to Nashville or wherever they're going to pursue their music career.
Yeah.
And then there's one point where you get to see a VHS video of Hub and the wife on Boxcar and them doing their song. But I was like, I don't know how old this is because Kevin Bacon does not look young in it.
Right.
He looks old.
It's only recent divorce, right?
Yeah, but I also don't know how long he's been a bounty hunter, because they tried to push this whole like you're going to be a music star, but they never set up that these guys were like famous in the music industry or whatever. They were just like, you can play a guitar.
And I don't understand why because he's saying to his son, you're not ready to join your mother and play music. What? Why? Why not? Why is he gatekeeping playing music with his mum?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it explained?
They just,
okay.
No, not in what I've seen.
Ridiculous.
It was weird.
Yeah, not a fan.
But what would you give it?
I went for like a 3, episode 1, and then like a 2.5, and then like a 2, maybe 1.5. I don't know. I'm somewhere around the 1.5, 2 mark. I'll be generous and give it a 2 because, benefit of the doubt, that's going to get better. But the third episode, fucking awful. It's so boring.
Would I recommend it? Maybe, but not really. So it's like a 2.5.
Sure.
It's close, but it's also missed the mark. If they kept the tone of the first episode, then yeah, easy recommendation. But they didn't.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
And kept it more interesting.
Disappointing.
Yeah, all right.
Oof.
An average of 2.25. That's about right.
Ooh. All right.
Cool. Now we move on to The Surfer, my pick of the week. New Nick Cage movie, directed by Lorcan Finnegan, who I haven't seen Vivarium or Nocebo, but I've heard great things. I've heard that he makes stuff that is always a bit like, makes some people really like it, and some people are like, what the fuck is it am I watching? What the hell just happened? Which I feel like this is also on the same sort of page, so I'm really curious to see what you think. I can predict it, I think, but it stars Nicolas Cage. The synopsis is: a man returns to the idyllic beach of his childhood to surf with his son. When he is humiliated by a group of locals, the man is drawn into a conflict that keeps rising and pushes him to his breaking point. Nicolas Cage in this story, this is filmed in Western Australia, by the way, like southern Western Australia. He is a Australian, supposedly, born and raised here, and then after his father died, / killed himself, he moved to America, and that's why he has an American accent, and has lived there most of his life, supposedly. Became like a semi-successful businessman of some description, and came back to Australia. I'm not sure if he's been back to Australia for long, or if he now like lives here or what the hell, but he's back in Australia, and he wants to buy his like family house on this beach. So he takes his son there, and he's like, oh, we go out in the water and I'll show you a surprise. And they start going towards the water. They get bumped into one guy who's like, fuck off. He gets down to the water, and this bloke comes up and is like, you don't live here, you don't surf here. And he's like, oh, I just want to go surf with my son. And another guy comes up, an older bloke, and says to him, no, come on, mate, you can't be here. Tries to be all nice and whatever, but he's also comes across a bit dangerous. Scally, like Scallywag, who is Dr. Doom from, do you remember Dr. Doom in the original Fantastic Four?
Oh, God, no, I've wiped that from my memory. It was horrendous.
Sure. I didn't mind the first one that much. The second one's pretty awful, but...
No.
But yeah, he was Dr. Doom. He looks so different when he's all like scraggly and Aussie. But yeah, he's on the beach, tells him to piss off and whatever, and you can't swim here, you can't surf here. So from then on, almost, Nicolas Cage becomes like obsessed with this group of men on the beach, who call themselves the Bay Boys, Beyblades. I couldn't help but think of.
Oh, really?
What was you thinking?
I couldn't stop thinking of the Home and Away. Where was that? The Bra Boys.
Oh, see, I'm not
the River Crew.
I don't know that reference.
I just remember the adverts.
Right.
It was like the Bra Boys. well, not the Bra Boys. They're an actual thingo.
Oh, they're a little gang, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They had their full like own thingo. Where were they? Where are the Bra Boys from?
From what was the place called? Something Bay.
They had a 2007 documentary. Bra is reference to the gang suburbs of Maruba. Slang for brother. Okay.
Bruh.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway. So there's this little gang on the beach.
Sydney in 1990.
The Bra Boys. They call the Bra Boys in Home and Away? Who knows? Who cares?
Home and Away gangs. The River Boys. In Home and Away, the gang refers to the River Boys.
Sure.
River Boys. Do they kayak?
Yep.
This group is portrayed as a bad boy surf gang.
We're getting distracted. So, the whole sort of second act, the majority of this film is this nightmare of Nicolas Cage being obsessed with this group. He keeps getting harassed by the locals. There's his boys that keep coming over and fucking with like his, sanity really. They fuck with his car at first. He keeps trying to make a phone call because he's trying to place a higher bid on the house and no one's giving him a phone. A phone, like the public phone rings and he tries to go answer it and the kids are like, well, give us your ring. You want how much is it worth to you? So he gives him his like, actual like ring on his hand. Everyone's against him more or less. Like the guy behind the fucking like kiosk selling coffee and stuff says he can keep his watch as collateral for a coffee he wants to buy. Then ends up just stealing the watch. It's like, what watch? Oh no, my dad gave me that. Like it's all just everyone's against him, and he starts to question his own sanity. He's like super fucking thirsty, and he goes over to like the water fountain, and they put dog shit on it at first, and then they chain a dog to the actual water fountain so he can't get a drink. He goes into the public toilets and drinks the recycled water, even though there's like a no drinking sign. Gets super sick, which we could have predicted. He gets like rocks thrown at his head, so he gets scarred. He has his car like stolen in the end. He's living in this homeless man's car. He basically becomes like a homeless himself, and there's a bit of question whether or not he is the homeless man at the beginning, and you start to question what is reality. What else happens to him? There's a whole probably maybe 45 minutes of just this dude being obsessed. Like he's got these binoculars and he just sits there and stares at the fucking Bay Boys, the River Boys, and things just keep happening to the guy, and it's pretty hard to watch. Like it feels very much like those nightmares that you have where like it's not like a massive nightmare where the world's ending. It's one of those nightmares where like you'd be late for work and like bad things just keep happening that put you further and further out, and it gets you like really stressed, and you could walk away at any point. Like this guy could literally just walk away at any point, but part of his obsession is that he really can't. Like he himself can't. Physically he can, but mentally he can't.
He couldn't because he was having a psychotic break.
Yeah.
And he was the homeless man all along.
Well, that's
after his dad died.
That's some other question. Yeah. There's a bit of that, like there's a bit of what's real and what's, in this guy's head, and is he the homeless man? Because there's like this moment we're looking in the mirror and we see like a flash of the homeless man looking back at him. I don't interpret it as he's the homeless man, but I think that's sort of part of what Lorcan Finnegan does, and that, he could be. There's no real, it's art, there's no real answer to the questions. Is he the homeless man or whatever?
He's the homeless man.
Yeah, of course you want literal answers to everything.
I do, but he is.
So yeah, in the end, he goes down to he calls the cops, and the cops are all part of the Bay Boys, and et cetera, et cetera. So in the end, he goes down there, and he beats the shit out of the original guy who was don't live here, you don't surf here. And all of a sudden the Bay Boys are like, all right, come on in. And he's welcomed into the Bay Boys, their little cult, and becomes one of them and smokes with them and spends a night in their little shack on the water or whatever. And then the homeless man comes down with a gun, lines them all up, and is like, all right, I'm going to kill all of you. And he got 3 bullets, so he lets everyone go but 3, which is Nick Cage's son, and Scally, the leader of the Bay Boys. We found out earlier in the movie that somehow Scally is responsible for the death of the homeless man's dog and potentially his son. We've got John Wick shit going on. So Nick Cage's like, I just want to surf. I literally just came here to surf with my son. Like, okay, off you go. So he sends them surfing in the water. And then the homeless man shoots Scally and then shoots himself, and the movie ends. And yeah, I've heard critique that the ending doesn't really have that satisfying feeling that the movie was sort of leading to. I was expecting him to grab the gun and go postal and just fucking walk in there and shoot as many people as he could, including Scally, and then get arrested.
Yeah, no. I just expected him to be having a mental breakdown in the car park and then the cops taking him off. That was it.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets indoctrinated into this fucking group and they say to him, I heard the exact line, but it's something along the lines of, you have to lose everything before you can have anything, something like that, which is very similar to a line in Fight Club, which this movie also reminded me of at times. Yeah, I want to hear where you're at, but I have some thoughts, things that I liked about it and things I didn't like about it, but I've talked a bit already, so
okay.
Where you at?
I really like the cinematography. I think that was great.
Gorgeous.
I think it was shot well.
Yep.
I think Nicolas Cage being unhinged, really good. But I was like, what are we doing here? What is it? I was like, is he the homeless man or not? I hate it. Don't just give me open-ended whatever. It's lazy.
It's not lazy. That's the whole point of
lazy.
Art is interpretation.
No, it's the same way you just do a splatter on a painting and you're like, it's art. It's not art. You just put a paint can and stabbed holes in it and spun it around over the painting. And you're like, this is art. Nope. This was not for me.
I know.
Yeah. Look, I tried. I didn't even go on my phone because I was like, this is one of those art house ones that Lawson's going to be like, you didn't even watch. I did. I didn't do any editing. I watched the entire thing. Good
job.
And I'm like, yeah, besides the acting and the cinematography, I was like, God, this needs to hurry up. I'm glad it was only an hour and a half. Just over an hour and a half. And
there are some parts that are meant to feel long. Like the whole middle act.
And he succeeded.
Yeah. It's meant to feel like this guy is fucking spending his entire life here. His son sees him later and he's like, Dad, it's Christmas. Like, where the fuck have you been? So he's obsessed. So,
yeah.
It kind of did what it meant to do for you. It was meant to feel long. It was meant to be confusing and have no answers. But I can see how that's not for everyone in terms of watching a movie, the experience they want, which I get. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, the cinematography is fucking brilliant. I'm not sure if it's intentional. I need to look into it more. But a lot of this reminded me of Hitchcock films. There's the obsession from Rear Window, and there's a lot of shots that are sort of taken out of Rear Window where it's him looking at something and then seeing that back and forth POV over and over and slowly getting closer to his face. His complete obsession and inability to waver from, his obsession is very Rear Window. There's a lot of things that remind me of Vertigo as well, in that he becomes the bad guy. If we take that interpretation of him being the homeless man. There are some long takes that remind me of the birds. I feel like there's a lot of things in this that remind me of Hitchcock, which I really liked. I like little things that, you know, remind me of other better things sometimes. But yeah, I feel like the ending was unsatisfying. It felt like a weird flip of his character, even though I get it, because, you know, if you obsess with a cult for long enough, you become part of the cult. You know, there's stories of journalists and stuff looking into a cult and then getting sucked into it. So, you know, that was fine. But I also felt it wasn't the ending. Like when I'm watching this, I wanted him to get his revenge at the end and go postal and fucking kill this fucking Scully, whatever his name is, dude. Was a piece of shit. And I wanted him to get hurt. And he did, but not by my character. Unless your interpretation that is that he did because he's an old man. It's pretty cool in places. It's interesting. But there's not much, I don't know there's much to discuss beyond that.
No. It was too art housey for me.
Yeah. I could see that see that coming.
No. Yeah. But I don't know. It was bizarre.
There's some bits that were really funny and weird as well. Like with the rat. There's a rat in his car and he's fucking like beating it against the car and yeets it. And then he goes and gets it later. He puts it in his pocket at one point, doesn't he? Puts it in his pocket later, and then he's down on the beach beating the shit out of that guy and he's like, eat the rat, shoving it in his mouth.
Yeah. What was it? I don't understand, because at the second time he has the confrontation where he beats the guy up, I was like, if it was just him, if it was a passage of time or him sticking around long enough that he becomes local or whatever. But like the first fight, he technically won that. Like he was on top, he had mount, he was like beating up the blondie. Like technically he won that, and then the second fight he like hit the bloke with the sign, and then they were like, oh yeah, cool, come on in.
What was the first fight?
First fight was the nighttime one where he went to go get his surfboard.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then he won that, and then they separated, and the bloke smashed the bottle and was like, ah, and then he was like, ah.
Yeah.
And then he left.
I think
but
part
of the second fight.
Go on.
They accepted him in. I was like,
yeah.
What's the? I don't understand the definition of how you get accepted into this.
I think, not to go back to this conversation, but I think there's a bit of stuff about like masculinity, and that this group wanted him to become like the animal and lean fully into his animal instincts and go fucking ham. And that once you give up your entire life to be a fucking aggressive animal, you can welcome into the group. Because the first fight, he didn't fight like he did in the second fight. Second fight, he was a fucking animal.
Okay.
So I do wonder if there's a bit of that going on.
Maybe. That probably makes sense, because the whole Scully's thing was like helping men become men again or whatever. Yeah.
So that's why I like this shit, because we can have these discussions and be like, what does that mean? And why is that way? And I like when things aren't as literal, but I get it. I know that it's not everyone's enjoyment with movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks brilliant.
Yeah.
Like Australian beaches, man, just fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also, for a public beach, it's just because of this crew that no one goes there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's sort of the point. Locals do.
Yeah. Oh, well. I don't know. What'd you give it then?
I'm somewhere around like 3.5. I'm not saying it's great. It didn't have the satisfying ending that I was expecting it to have, and cinematography is gorgeous, and the descent into madness is really fun, but I feel like it could have lent deeper into his insanity and had more layers into even like the messaging behind like masculinity and stuff as well. Like that could have been a bit more layered, a bit more interesting, rather than just a few little sprinkles here and there. Like it tried doing a lot of things, and I feel like it succeeded at a few of them, but not all that it tried. I don't know, 3.5 feels kind of generous, but 3 doesn't feel like it's generous enough. Let's go 3.2. I hate giving those dumb scales, but yeah. Where are you at?
Yeah. I'm at a 2.
You're at a 2.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Cinematography, acting, very, very good. It's not for me.
No, I expected
It's
2.
not.
I thought you were going to give it lower. I predicted you were going to give it a 1.
It's not a 1. It's not a 1 at all. Like the acting, the cinematography, the descent into madness, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Just have some stronger story points. Just give me the cliff notes of what you're actually
Give me the cliff
trying to
notes.
sum up here.
Sure.
Like, is he the homeless man? Is he not the homeless man? Is his son real? Are these people even real?
Well, that's the interesting part.
Like, I don't know. No, it's not.
No, it's not. We know what that means.
You win, I'm assuming.
Win again.
Ugh.
You won the first 2, then I won 4 in a row. It is 4-2.
How close was this one, though? I feel like
This
last
week?
week was... Yeah.
This week was an average of 2.25 and an average of 2.6. Last week was closer, 4 and 3.75.
Yeah.
Week before that was a stomping, like Until Dawn versus Sinners.
Oh, yeah, until Dawn killed me.
But week one killed me with Devil May Cry. I got a 4.5, and Minecraft Movie 1.25 average.
Yeah, fair. Devil May Cry was good.
Yeah, I haven't watched all of it. I need to watch that and stay on the treadmill. I started watching Invincible.
Oh, yeah. Episode 6. You got to watch it, mate.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
You on Art House.
You want
Get on
Art
that.
House?
Yeah.
Oh man! Speaking
So
of which,
good.
what I'm gonna pick this time.
Ugh. I feel like you've already done your Art House pick.
Well, I want to watch the Friendship movie.
Friendship.
But I wanted to review that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just find some weird fucking Art Nouveau, fucking avant-garde, weird shit from the 50s.
Yeah.
There is
There is a...
Go on.
Well, the new movie that is everyone's like, it's so grotesque that people are walking out of the cinema. It's called The Ugly Stepsister.
Okay.
So the Cinderella story about one of the stepsisters and the lengths they go to like morph their bodies to fit the prince's like saying stuff.
Ugly Stepsister. Fucking every month there's a movie that everyone's like, oh, everyone's walking out of the cinema throwing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so often.
And the wrestling one is called Queen of the Ring. Was the one I was referring to earlier.
Queen of the Ring. Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it based on a true story?
I believe so, yeah. Because there's images of the actual lady wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Actually sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, we'll see. I'll find something. Hey, it's got Goggins in it. I love Goggins. He's fucking awesome.
David Goggins. Who's going to carry the bolts and the logs?
No, but what?
Is he actually?
No, Walton Goggins.
Oh, well, that sounds cool. Yeah. Well, you know what to do. That sucks. I am 0 and 2. But there's a comeback story. Rising from the ashes. I'm like a phoenix. You ready?
I'm like a phoenix.
You know what to do. We'll see you guys next time. Give us a 5-star rating on all the podcast places you can listen to. And you're on YouTube. Make sure you like,
And
comment,
tell
and
your
subscribe.
mum.
Tell your mum. Tell them all. See you guys next time.
Love yous.
Boys.